Write it down first.
Yeah.
See, if you don't write down, you will forget again tomorrow.
I'm still confused.
The important points should be written. You have to make a habit of writing down.
I've written it down, but I can't. I'm struggling at the same point that he misunderstood.
Yeah.
How you explain the? I understand it's the Lord Swarupa, the universal form.
Universal form, understanding what?
Is the Lord Swarupa?
It's not the Sarupa.
You said it is the Swarupa.
No.
Not
That is imagination.
Imagination.
That is the Sarupa of the Lord.
Imagination. This is the Sarupa.
Imagination means
is this.
it is not the Sarupa. When they say it is the Sarupa, it's imagination.
Also, that's the point. Isn't it?
Yes.
It's the
Yeah,
people
that's
that-
why imagination. It's not real.
Oh.
Their imagination, they're only imagining that this is the Sarupa of the Lord, but it's not.
But his real form is in the spiritual.
Yes.
Propose one more thing, it doesn't exist always. In that way also.
Yeah.
it does not exist.
In that way also. It doesn't always exist. But anyway, that's fine. That we know. It doesn't always exist because it's not the Sachidanand form. To think that this is the all in all, or this form is the Sachidanand form of the Lord, real form of the Lord. To think that is the imagination. It's their imagination. It's not true.
You said this gross is later given by Brahma, but not the entire universal form is made gross, like the mouth and all, Brahma doesn't give it. Right?
No, at the mouth, these are situated like that, mentioned. Within the, like, at the mouth of the universal form, this are situated, like that.
Okay, universal. Upper planetary system.
But that is not created by Brahma. Because yesterday we see Brahma not yet come now.
Brahma will give a gross form later. We haven't studied yet.
But that mouth, ear of that
What is the blueprint?
Oh, it's still a blueprint.
What if we have studied till now is the blueprint only?
Oh,
Where is Brahma is not even born yet? What we have studied.
so
When Brahma is born, he is the first living entity of the gross form, which is also very subtler compared to ours. But then he will start giving the gross forms as per the blueprint.
then what we see like yesterday, the Agni is entering in the mouth, then the
Blueprint.
living entity gets, it's still blueprint.
100 times should I say blueprint?
I couldn't.
As long as we don't understand and realize it.
Realize it.
Okay, more questions towards the later part. Okay. So the universal form, within the universe, the blueprint came into existence, the universal cell came into existence, nothing is happening. For how long there was inactivity? 1,000 years of inactivity.
Celestial.
1,000 celestial years. And again, the Lord entered within that. Okay, so the Lord entered, and then in here it is described after the Lord entered, it's like something happens from Garbhodaksha Vishnu, but the universal form which is created partly, blueprint is created partly, further final blueprint is created. His organs start to differentiate. So intermittently there is inactivity to show that again the Lord has to intervene, he has to empower. Without his empowerment, at no stage of creation, without empowerment, without Lord entering in some form, things move ahead. That's the main point. Okay, so then the Lord used three energies to manifest the different organs, and therefore this Devata became situated, and the blueprint for us receiving the organs was created. Further final blueprints were created in Vishwarupa. And though it's not described here, after the 1,000 years of inactivity only, Garbhodaksha Vishnu also enters, and Brahmaji starts creating, giving gross form. This is not mentioned here in this chapter. Here only mention of the differentiation of the various limbs, which is like finer now, finer blueprint. Or the Or you can say the subtle body of the Virat Rupa is being created. Let's understand like this. The subtle form of the Virat Rupa is being created. And then the gross form will manifest. The creation is like subtle to gross, we understand. Yes.
Can we say that the devatas, they perceive the universal form into their mind?
The devatas, at least when the subtle universal form is being created, the devatas haven't received the gross forms yet. The subtle universal form is being created. So this is like the subtle body of the universal form, you can see. What we are studying now.
Do they perceive it?
Do the devatas perceive this subtle? No, as of now, the devatas haven't received their senses or nothing. While this is being created, devatas haven't received their form and senses yet.
They know where to go and so on.
It is, again, subtly things are being created. Not to know they are being, the devatas enter, they don't have a physical form. They don't have a physical form. So they enter means either they are placed, right? It's like their situation described. Enter would mean they enter it's all subtle creation taking place. So we can't have a gross perception at this point of time. They enter would be they become situated.
So they
They become situated, and then the blueprint for the living entity receiving the organ is created. So like that.
They don't perceive anything, they just know what they have to do.
To perceive anything, they have to have a gross, just like to our prayers, they have to have a senses and the form. Unless the Brahma gives them the form and senses, they will not be able to perceive anything. Okay, even for the prayers, they were given the form by the Lord.
But they did not continue the form.
No, I mentioned yesterday.
So after the form was given again, they
It
were-
disappeared. Okay? Okay, so then the various organs differentiated and the way the living entity will receive their gross and the subtle senses was created. That blueprint was created. Or that is like the subtle universal form. Okay. After that again the planetary system, the Varnashramas was created from different parts of the universal form. So like that. And there is important verse. This verse we didn't sufficiently emphasize. Where is that? That I am speaking of the Maya, one who hears this with Shraddha, that person is not affected by Maya. Is that here or Maya Varnayatumshya? Oh, it looks like there's a second canto verse. Nothing like second canto verse. Let me just open that verse. Maya Atman Muhyati.
310.
Okay, there is important verse. It's not here, but in relation to the creation of the Lord. Mayam varnyato mushya ishvarasya anumodataha shadvata shadhya nityam mayatma anumuhyati. 2753. If you want to refer to that verse, 2753. Mayam varnyato mushya. This says the Lord activity in association with different energies, here means Maya, material energy, should be described, appreciated and heard in accordance with the teaching of Supreme Lord. If this is done regularly with devotion and respect, one is sure to get out of the illusory energy of the Lord. Means what? One should hear the activities of the Lord in relation to Maya to become free from Maya. One should therefore Bhagavatam again and again describing Sarga Visarga. That's the reason actually, this is a very important verse. One should try to understand the activities of Lord in relation to Maya so that one can get out of Maya. If that is done with respect, with devotion, then one will be able to get out of Maya. So please remind yourself whenever you study again, the Sarga Visarga will come, Lord Kapila will also describe. And remember that this description of the Sarga Visarga so many times is there. Unless we come out of the Maya, we cannot really have a thick connection with the Lord. Therefore, hear about Maya to get out of Maya. Hear with respect, hear with devotion. Activities in relation to Maya, to get out of Maya. Or not to be bewildered by Maya. Maya Atma Bhagati. That person will not be bewildered by Maya. Hear these activities.
Devotion, inquisitiveness is
Inquisitiveness.
to study this section.
One should, study to the best of knowledge, but with the mood here, with faith and with devotion. One should study this section also with faith and devotion, and not only intellectually. One should, just like in between the prayers, then instill again the mood of devotion toward the Lord. That's everything is happening by the power of the Lord. The power of the Lord is necessary in every step. So that mood should remain. Should not be simply analytical study. Okay, so this is the creation of the universal form.
Everything happens by Lord's grace on that mood when we read.
Yeah, whenever we read, we should read that may whatever may the Lord reveal part of His infinite glories. Even the Lord's greatness in terms of this creation should also be appreciated with devotion. It should not be considered that, oh, what is this, and so on and so forth. The Lord's greatness, it should be appreciated, and we should try to understand to the best of our knowledge. Okay, so we have spent 45 minutes to recap.
So more than we normally take up.
Yeah?
So much longer than we normally do.
That's what I'm saying, that almost every day we spend 45 minutes for recap. Almost every day. You have noticed? Almost every day after the recap, when I start the next chapter, is always like 11:10, 11:15.
So that's the most important part. I feel at least.
Okay, so now we come to further inquiry by Vidura. Vidura further inquires.
All other questions not answered, no? Only one is answered.
How many questions have been answered?
One only. No, three.
Out of 7.
Out of 7, we said 1.
Two, sorry.
Purushavataras,
Pushavatara,
second about
Seven.
creation.
creation. What kind of creation?
Primary.
Primary.
The creation of the various planets in the universal form, and the placement of the living entities, right, in terms of the mode. Another question has been answered out of 7.
Universal form.
Universal form. 3 questions have been answered. So there are further questions. Before the other 4 are answered, there are more questions. Someone will say, why ask more questions where the others are not answered? There are questions coming from the answers now. Again, we'll go back to the original questions. Or original questions, then there will be further more questions. For now, these questions which are asking now are coming from the answers. So that will be answered. And then the answer to the original question will resume. Fine?
Now 4 questions already are.
Three have been answered.
3, huh?
Yeah.
Three have been answered.
Okay.
Which three? Tell Anand, which three have been answered?
The creations
Uh,
from Mahatattva.
creation, fine. Second,
Second, cosmic Mahatattva to cleanse to the.
that is second. That is first one.
Then to
What is the other two questions that have been answered? We just
cosmic.
discussed. We just discussed that three questions have been answered. So you have to be alert. All of you have to be alert in the class. We just discussed that three questions have been answered. Is it not? You have to somewhere make a habit of writing down, noting down, or be attentive. What are the other questions answered there, Krishna Prabhu? Which questions have been answered out of 7?
The Sarga Visarga and the Virat Rupa.
Virat Rupa, Visarga hasn't been answered yet.
Oh, sorry.
Only the primary creation. Virat Rupa, Sarga, 2. What is the other third? Purusha Avataras.
Purushavatara.
3 Purusha Avataras.
3 Purushavatara, yes.
He has asked the question about
Oh,
Purusha
Purusha
Avataras.
Avataras.
Yeah. Yeah.
Purushavatara. And it is, Purushavatara.
So you will have to make a habit of taking exhaustive notes. Otherwise, whatever you discuss, you forget everything. What is the use of discussing so many things if you tomorrow morning you will forget everything? That is my point. So at this stage, I think 3 questions have been answered. You forgot in 2 minutes. If you don't note down, you will forget. You have to make a habit of taking exhaustive notes. Otherwise, you will all forget down. And if you are not able to note it down, ask me to pause. I said, I want to note it down. You will go slow. But if we keep discussing and then we keep forgetting, where are we going? Vidura Uvacha. So, okay, first one. Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Shishukavacha.
Evam Brahmanam Maitreyam.
Evam Brahmanam Maitreyam.
Dvaipayana Suto Buddha.
Dvaipayana Suto Buddha.
Prinayan Iva Bharatya.
Pranayanam Bharatya.
Vidura Pratyabhashata.
Vidura Pratyabhashata.
Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, O king, while Maitreya the great sage was thus speaking, Vidura, the learned son of Dvaipayana Vyasa, expressed a request in a pleasing manner by asking this question.
Okay, he asked some further questions. These are questions coming from the answers. So he asked about the position of the Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, in verses 2, 3, 4. In verses 2, 3, 4, he inquired about the position of the Supreme Lord. Yes, read the translation of 2.
Sri Vidura said, O great Brahmana, since the Supreme Personality is the complete spiritual world and is unchangeable, so how he is connected with the material mode of nature and their activities? If this is pastime, how do the activities of the unchangeable take place and exhibit qualities without the mood of nature?
Okay, so the whole question is that the Supreme Lord the Supreme Lord is complete spiritual whole. Chinmatrasya, right? Chinmatrasya. He is a complete spiritual whole, but his Maya Shakti is Gunamayi, not and he creates in relation to Maya. And this Maya Shakti is described as non-different from him. Means his Shaktis cannot be separated from him, is it not? So he has an aspect which is Gunmaya, which cannot be separated, but still he remains complete spiritual whole, without the tinge of Maya, though his energy is Maya, which he associates with Maya, right? His energies are not different from him, work in relation to him. So therefore, how can we understand, though he functions in relation to Maya, which is his energy, but he is complete spiritual whole? Like if I have
With energy, he is not separated.
this is a question. This question comes again and again in Bhagavatam. Try to understand the question. Question is how the Lord, he has energy which is Gunamay. Right? He has energy which is Gunamay. But still he is complete spiritual whole. How is that possible? His energy is not different from him. If I have some business going on and I say I am a pauper totally, so this business is yours. This business is yours, or your person is running this business. You have appointed somebody as the CEO of this business. Right? It's your business, and you say I am a total pauper. I have nothing to do. It's your business. How you are a pauper? Something like that. So Maya is your energy, the good Maya. And Lord said, Lord is completely beyond it. But so how? That's a question. This question again and again comes in Bhagavatam. This question is repeatedly discussed. How Maya is with the Lord, but the Lord says, I have nothing to do. How can you have nothing to do? Your energy. How can you disclaim? Your children, right? And you say I am a brahmachari. Whose children are these? Right? Something like that. So this question comes again and again in the Bhagavatam. Even the Vedas personify, they discuss this part of the Lord. Because there are so many people who misunderstand this point, that is repeatedly discussed. So many transcendentalists, therefore they don't accept the person from the Lord. They consider it as a part of the material energy. Therefore they say the Lord is the supreme Lord, means without any form, without any quality, because everything, every form, every quality, every sense is material. So they distill him, separate him. Because they don't understand this particular point. This is the answer to this question is not understood. Okay, so how the Lord is completely spiritual and he has spiritual activities and so on, while his Maya is also his energy and Lord functions in relation to Maya and everything. Nothing but in one line how the Lord is involved and also aloof. This is a variation of the question. This question keeps coming. How the Lord is involved. If one is involved, how can he be aloof? These are mutually contradictory things. He is involved in Maya, or is aloof from Maya. This question is the subject of discussion repeatedly. Text 3.
Boys are enthusiastic to play with other boys or with various diversions because they are encouraged by desire. But there is no possibility of such desire for the Lord because he is self-satisfied and detached from everything at all times.
Okay? So the example is given that a person, the children desire to enjoy, so they play. But the Lord has no desire. He is so triptasya, he is Atmaram. Therefore, why does he create? Again, a contradiction. So all this, like, he wants to further clarify these mutually contradictory aspects regarding the Lord. What is the impetus to create when he is fully satisfied? The children, they want to enjoy, that's why they play. There is some impetus to do activity. Lord is full. What is the impetus to create? 4.
Isn't this already answered before? There is some lacking.
Not explicitly, sometimes it's required, emphasis is required.
By his
That we discussed, that we were lacking. Prabhupada answered that.
Okay.
Text 4.
a self-subtle potency of the three modes of material nature, the Lord has caused the creation of this universe. By her he maintains the creation and conversely dissolves it again and again.
Right? This is 3 and 4 are the one question basically. In 3 and 4, in 3 it is mentioned that Lord has no desire, still by his material nature he creates and even maintains and destroys. Though he has no desires. So 3 and 4, there are two things asked about the Lord. That how he is aloof when he is involved with the Maya. And second, why does he create when there is no impetus, when there is no desire? He is self-satisfied. So this question about the Supreme Lord, the two aspects have been inquired. Now the next two questions, 5 and 6, the position of Jiva is being clarified. The Lord and the Jiva. What is the position of the living entity? Yes, 5th.
The pure soul is pure consciousness and never out of consciousness, either due to circumstances, time, situations, dreams, or other causes. How then does he become engaged in nescience?
How the Jiva, who is Satchidananda, part and parcel of the Lord, becomes engaged in nescience, that he totally forgets that is part and parcel of the Lord. There is no clue, right? All the living entities, there is no clue that they are spirit soul. They are considered as a body. How much this ignorance, how come this Satchidananda part of the Lord becomes so degraded, involved in nescience? This is an important question to be contemplated again and again. And this is repeatedly, this question is also discussed in Bhagavatam. What brings this awkward position? Prabhupada says, how the living entity falls into this such an awkward position, right? Part and parcel of the Lord. 6th.
Hare Krishna.
The Lord as the super soul is situated in every living being's heart. Why then do the living entities' activities result in misfortune and misery?
Okay, first of all, living entity is covered with nescience. That means the living entity lost total clue of one's real identity. Second, the Lord is there within heart. Can you imagine? The Supreme Lord, Master of the unlimited universes, the Lord of Vaikuntha, Goloka, Vrindavan, He is there in the heart. Still the living entity suffers so much. How is that? Very important questions.
This is the question, huh?
These are questions. These are questions. And Prabhupada says, Prabhupada rephrased the question. The last 5 lines. Read the last 5 lines of the Bhagavad Dev Krishna Brahma.
The last 5 lines.
The Lord is the Father.
The Lord is the Father and Protector of every living entity, and He is known as Bhutavrit, or the maintainer of the living entities. Why then should the living entity be subjected to so many sufferings and misfortunes? It should not be so, but actually we see that it happens everywhere. This question is therefore put forward by Vidura for solution.
So the Supreme Father is there accompanying, and still the Son is suffering so much. Why though? These are questions, important questions. Being raised by Vidura. Further, read the text 7, Devashan, translation of 7th.
O great and learned one, my mind is greatly illusioned by the distress of this nescience, and I therefore request you to clear it up.
Okay, so these questions about the position of the Lord, about the position of Jiva, has sprung forth from the previous answers. So there are basically 2 questions here.